Welcome to the Seattle Real Estate with Urban Ash, your go-to podcast for all things Seattle and Seattle real estate. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, an experienced investor, downtown resident, or simply just curious about the latest market trends, we've got you covered. I'm Urban Ash, a 20-plus year downtown resident and real estate professional. Together, we'll uncover insider tips, share expert insights to help you navigate the market, and showcase community leaders and organizations. So join me as we dive into everything from the rental and sales market to the rich community life that makes Seattle so unique. Thank you, Tony, for meeting today. I know, Corey, we've done these updates in the past with Mr. Suncadia, Corey, and he's kind of passing the torch to you here because you're kind of the one that knows it all. And sounds like you're kind of born and raised in the area, so you kind of look at real estate from a different perspective. So why don't we, I guess, as Suncadia in general, let's just kind of get a little bit of a background of what is Suncadia and Tumble Creek for those who might not know.
Absolutely, yeah. So, Suncadia Suncadia Resort is 6,400 acres. So it's bigger than you think until you drive in here and start roaming around. But 6,400 acres, and we're only going to develop on 2,000 acres of that. So the rest is protected, a lot of conservancy land, and we just wanted to make sure that we didn't overpopulate the area, but make sure that we had a bunch of area protected so it stays beautiful. But having said that, it's split right down the middle by 7.5 miles of the Cle Elum River corridor. And on one side is our private side of the community, which is called Tumble Creek, and then the other side is the resort side of Suncadia. So it all falls under the Suncadia Resort umbrella, but there is a private community that exists within the resort as well, called Tumble Creek.
Gotcha. Sweet. And, you're located about an hour and 15 minutes from downtown Seattle. So it's super, super quick for, I think found like families, you're trying to get out of the city and you want to have kind of like what equivalent would be an island home or, something that's just like away from your in-city escape. And Suncadia gets you actually into more of a drier climate and it's like completely different. You get more sunshine. And so I think that that's pretty unique that you could just basically dart over there, anytime. An hour and 15 minutes is nothing.
Yeah, you said we're exit 80, so literally 80 miles from downtown Seattle. But it's a world apart. We are we're attached to the small towns of Cle Elum and Roslyn, and the town motto for Cle Elum is heart of the Cascades. So that's really where we are. We're in the heart of the Cascade Mountain Range. So and it's over I-90. So like you said, it's a simple trip over here for weekends. And we find that people that end up buying here, especially if this is kind of their weekend home, they'll come over on a Friday night. They'll stay over on Sunday instead of dealing with the traffic and go, get a little extra time here at the resort and then go home on Sunday. So it's just such a quick, easy trip. But being so close to Seattle, 80 miles is what really makes us unique. There's similar resorts in like, Sun River, but you're looking at, 5.5, 6 hours. And even the closest town there is Bend, which is 40, 45 minutes away, which is wonderful. It's a beautiful resort, but I think that does what make us unique, being that close to a major city and having the two towns of Cle Elum and Roslyn attached to the resort.
Yep, definitely. Why don't we talk a little bit about you and also your involvement just in kind of the Suncadia Resort and sales and everything there.
Absolutely, yeah. As you mentioned earlier, I'm a Cle Elum kid, so I did graduate from the small town of Cle Elum. Moved away and ended up being a UW grad. But about 12 years ago, my wife and I both moved home. She's from here as well. We were kind of sitting there going, everyone seems to be moving to where we're from. Maybe we should go home. And we've been back for 12 years, and I think this will be home, yeah, forever. But we returned 12 years ago. At that time, I was actually a golf professional. So I've been a golf professional at the resort for my first 10 years out here on both the private side of Tumble Creek and over here. And then about 2 years ago, I finally made the switch and came down and started working for the Suncadia real estate team. So I certainly have a different perspective than maybe some of the other brokers on watching this thing grow from its infancy, and all the way through who's living here as far as membership, and now, like I said, on the other side of the real estate side. So it's been really fun to watch this community grow. Our new ownership, RCS, Real Capital Solutions, coming in a couple of years ago and really starting to make the changes that have been talked about for a long time, but they're here and they're doing it. So it's just been fun to watch the community grow and then also grow together with Cle Elum and Roslyn. It's been a really fun experience.
Awesome. Yeah. What Can you tell a little bit, I guess, in light of we're in the heart of summer, I'm assuming this is kind of your busy time, busy season there for sales because people are over there enjoying their spaces and bringing friends and family, and then everyone's like, hey, I want to buy a place here.
Yeah, no, yeah, you nailed it. I think we're pretty much following a very similar pattern to most years, COVID years aside, in which this is the time people are certainly coming and visiting and starting to get that in their minds. So yeah, this is usually when we'll see kind of the residential market start to rebound for us and then start to pick up. But honestly, our busiest months are probably as we get out of summer. We're looking at more like the August, September, October
Mhm.
timeframe.
Mhm.
As the kids are going back to school and the parents will come over and kind of look at the homes, instead of being on vacation. But you're right. I think as far as getting people over here and feeling and experiencing what Suncadia is all about, these are the most important months for that. Having said that, wintertime also provides, there's kind of that 3 weeks from when school's out to New Year's, and we'll get people from Seattle want to maybe get out of the rain a little bit and come play in the snow. So we
Yeah.
call that Winterfest, and that's one of our busiest times of the year. So we usually see a little bit of an uptick after that, and then as we get into late summer, early fall is kind of when we start really seeing properties start to move. But you're absolutely right. People getting out here for summertime is when things start to we start to see that energy and we start to see buyers circle in, and it just gets a little bit closer. But we're once we get into August, September, October is really when things start moving.
Gotcha. And how's the market doing just by numbers right now?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that we're kind of in that certainly at the moment, more of a buyer's market for sure.
Mhm.
But we're starting to see it pick up a little bit. In the last 6 months between the two, between Suncadia and Tumble Creek, we've had about 41 homes sold. We have 10 homes pending right now, so about 51 homes sold. Having said that, there are still 66 listed between the two. So there is definitely inventory out there for those. That's single family. We also have condos and stuff over here and vacant land as well.
Yeah.
But when it comes to single family homes, yeah, we're looking at about 51 sold in the last 6 months, but still plenty of inventory available with 66 at the moment.
Gotcha. Do you have any median like price ranges or values that you could share?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and hopefully it's not too dense, but we'll try to work through it
I
here.
think.
So yeah, on the Suncadia side, and we'll kind of split it up since they are two different communities
Mhm.
as far as property goes. We do have 33 homes sold on this side in that 6 months. We have two of them pending, but 47 are listed. So much more obviously on this side. This is the more dense side when it comes to homes built. The average square foot of the home sold in Suncadia is about 2,750 square feet. Our average days on market right now is close to 90 days. It's about 3 months. Being a second home or vacation home market, you'll see that as pretty common for us. Having said that, everything comes down to being priced correctly, right? We'll see some go
Yep.
over the
Quick.
weekend, and we'll see some that sit there a little bit longer. But I'd say 90 days is a pretty normal days on market for us. We've had a pretty good, our home values have stayed pretty strong. We're still at an average of 1.65 million or so. We're seeing a lot of homes certainly under that 2 million mark. One of the big things I guess I should have mentioned differences between Suncadia and Tumble Creek is Suncadia, if you buy in Suncadia, you do have the ability for short-term rental, which is obviously very popular, especially for younger families that are trying to offset some of that cost of having their vacation home. And so we see a lot of homes more on the Suncadia side really coming in under that 2 million, and down to some of those townhomes are closer to a million. So that's where we get that 165 evaluation. But we are
Gotcha.
seeing home sell at about 96% of list price. So it is nice to see that they're kind of holding steady with that value. And in Suncadia, especially, one of the most popular metrics for home valuation is price per square foot. And on the Suncadia side, it's holding about 600 a square foot for
Okay.
home value.
Yeah.
If you cross the river over to Tumble Creek on the private side there, less homes sold. We have 8 homes sold. We do have 8 pending, and that's because we have a new community over there that has some pre-sales, which we'll get into, I think, here in a little bit. But we do have 8 pending. So we have 16 sold over there and 19 listed. So we do have, so again, a little bit more listed than we have been selling. Averages, the homes are a little bit bigger in Tumble Creek. A lot of them sit on 1 acre in the original part of Tumble Creek. So the average home square footage is 3,000 over there, 3,082 to be exact. And that one sits a little bit longer, about 100 days on market, not much longer, but just a little bit. The sales price for that though does bump up to just north of 2 million for Tumble Creek. So the private community, a little bit bigger homes, a little bit higher sales price there. And about the same. They're getting about 95% of list price over there, but the price per square foot at Tumble bumps up to 675. So it
Okay.
does bump up a little bit on that side. Um, and then we do have condos as well. That's only on the Suncadia side. So we have
Hmm.
condos. So for those who have never visited here, we have condos, standalone condo buildings, but also our lodge, our main lodge area, are also condo tels. So those are all privately owned. So our lodge
Hmm.
building is full of condos, and so we have um, we have 12 sold. We have 4 pending, and this is where it gets a little interesting. We have 30 listed, and the reason we have 30 listed is the lodge is 20 years old, and so
Yep.
we just did a lodge renovation. If you haven't been here in a little while, please come visit. They renovated the first floor. And they made it to where the downstairs area the bar used to be kind of closed off and dark. Now they've opened that whole area up and it stares out at the mountain range, and it's just a wonderful update. Having said that, as they're doing that, they're also asking that the rooms be refreshed. And so to be a part of the Suncadia rental pool, they're asking that you refresh your rooms. And, so that can be anywhere from, 30,000 to 100,000 if you have those suites to get those rooms refreshed. So that's why we're
Hmm.
seeing that
Special
influx of
assessment.
listed condos.
Yeah.
So those are, average about 900 square feet. Those stay on the market a little bit longer. They're closer to 130 days just because of everything kind of being in flux at the moment. Saying
Yep.
though, they're still getting about 95% of list price when we do get uh, to contract.
Hmm.
But they are selling for a less per square foot, about 483. And I think a
Yep.
big part of that is people pricing them in such a way that they understand that whoever buys is going to have to make that initial investment in refreshing
Yep.
their unit. So it's a great time to buy a condo, but just it's also understanding, that they're looking to refresh all those rooms, so there will be another expense built into that purchase for sure.
Yeah, we owned a unit at the lodge for years, and it was so nice, even though it wasn't kind of, coming from a condo downtown, going to another condo, it still was very nice because, you have all the outdoor space there. And when you get into the lodge, there's such like a vibrancy of the downstairs. And even the concierge downstairs were really friendly with him. And, going into the bar area and just having all those amenities there, it felt very easy and comfortable to just bop in and bop out. um, Lock and leave completely. And then when you're not using it, you just hand the keys off to the Suncadia rental pool, and then you're able to generate some income during that time too. And they also kind of maintained everything. So I felt like the experience of owning there was just extremely seamless for us and ended up being a very good investment just because we were able to use it and also make money. And it was just so easy and convenient to get to. So,
So that's great to hear. That's what I know that's what property management is going for. They want when
yep.
you are not in your unit that you don't have to worry about it. And they're
Yep.
trying to do everything they can to make sure that your room is rented when you're not there.
Hmm.
Obviously during COVID, that took a dip, but
Yeah.
now it's been nice to watch companies return to us, and having their retreats, and that's when they're really able to fill those during the week, especially during the weekends. We're always a popular place to
Yeah.
go, but during those shoulder seasons and during the weekdays, it is nice to have Syncadia Property Management trying to fill those units for you. Yeah.
Yeah, the conventions definitely were key. And like you said, on the weekends, I mean, between the weddings and different family events and just all that sort of thing, it all books up on the weekend anyway.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
so you do have to have that infill demand, definitely. But, everyone kind of looks for, you can rent, a lot of the houses too around that is in their rental pool too. But again, if you're just a couple coming in to visit, or whatever you're doing, you're going to want a smaller space and not necessarily a house. So it works out perfectly.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't know if you've been back since the remodel, but hopefully we can get you back over here because it really is
Yeah.
beautiful what they've done to the downstairs area. And now it used to be 56 degrees and Portals. 56-degree
Yep.
was the bar and Portals was the restaurant. Now they've kind of opened it up and combined them, and it's called the Source. And so the reason they called it that is they're trying to source from local outlets, and try to keep everything fresh. And but just the way it looks, the remodel is amazing. So I mean, it's certainly a great place to grab a drink or a small bite and just look out over I mean, the view off of the back of the lodge is one you don't forget
Gorgeous.
for sure.
Could you just, and I won't hold you to it, but could you just spit what the range is for the condos that you have available right now that are for sale in the building for
Yeah, I mean,
studio on up?
yeah, I mean, we're probably looking anywhere between, closer to 300,000, 315,000, and then up, uh, for the two-bedroom suites and stuff, closer into that 850 range, 815.
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, and you have anywhere from the studio room, which is like a hotel room, just has the bed and to the two-bedroom option. So yeah, you have 450 square feet to 1450 square feet. So you definitely have
Range.
quite a bit of difference. And then obviously, whether you're staring out at the riverside or facing out towards the driving range and all that across the street. So a lot goes
Yep.
into the evaluation, but yeah, there is definitely a little bit of something for everyone for sure.
Awesome. Well, as far as new developments, like what is happening, what's new kind of in Suncadia and or Tumble Creek?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about a few things actually. First, on the Suncadia side, would be our Nelson Lakes community. So down at Nelson Lakes, we're going to have 148 home sites, and so they're man-made lakes, the beautiful lakes that they go through. So the nice thing there is the water will be constantly moving, so it won't just keep those mosquitoes away. But no, it's really beautiful, and those are filled and going now. We had an event a couple weeks ago, and it was just great to see kids out on paddle boards and dog swimming and just families enjoying the area. They're landscaping it right now, so there'll be a beautiful walkway that goes all through the lakes for everyone that wants to come visit. But yeah, they'll end up being 148 sites down there, and so we have a couple different options there. You can obviously buy the land and then pick a builder. We do have some custom builders that we suggest, but you certainly don't have to go through us for that. If you have a builder you love, you can certainly use your builder on there. You just have to make sure that everything goes through the design review committee. Very important that they're involved. So as long as they approve everything, you're good to go there. We'll have custom homes that are currently being built and for sale. We have one already available down there from a builder called A&R Homes. So, as we continue to build out, there'll be more homes available for you just to come and find your perfect vacation home. And we also have portfolio builders. And so for that is some builders that are teamed up with us and for the Suncadia development company. And so they committed to build multiple homes. So once again, A&R Homes is going to build the Sundream collection, which I believe is 10 to 12 single level homes, which is something you don't see very often in Suncadia is the single level. So we're seeing a need for that a little bit more. And then another company, Sawyer Homes, is building 8 homes down there as well. So they're uh, once again, you'll kind of have every option you're looking for. If you're looking to build and that's the way that, that's the only way you can do it because that's the only way you'll get the home you want, that's certainly an option. If you're ready now, we have homes that are available now and will be here in the next couple months. And then we're going to have, like I said, our portfolio builders with the Sundream Collection, Sawyer Homes, and others going forward that definitely are going to be great homes and hopefully at a price point that introduces Suncadia and Nelson Lakes to more buyers as well. So we're only in
Awesome.
phase one right now. We're kind of just getting going with that. You can go down there and loop and see all the different lots. But we're hoping to move on to phase two, getting into next year. But it's a good time to come over and see the Nelson Lakes area. It's very beautiful down there. And
what are
then,
the
oh, go
range of
ahead.
prices? Yeah, before we move on, what are the range of prices for Nelson Lakes?
Yeah, Nelson Lakes, well, you're for so most of the lots are about a half acre. So half acre lots, 0.4 to half an acre, and you're looking at anywhere from 400,000 to, as we get to the corner of there, I wish I had a map up with me, but if we get to the corner, there's some really beautiful view lots, and they're a little bit bigger than a half acre. So as of right now, the most expensive one is going to be in the 825 area.
Okay.
And that's
Mhm.
for a bigger lot with a little bit of a view off of the ridge there. So, but most of them, if you're looking on the lakes or just across the street, are closer to that 400 to 550 range for the
Okay.
half acre lot.
So there is lakefront property then.
There actually is, yes, there is lakefront property, and it's
Sweet.
very beautiful. Like when we say lakes, it might they may not be, the full lake
A
size that you think. Yeah, but they
I
they
get
are
you.
very
A resort
beautiful, and
lake.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's but they are beautiful, and like I said, I think they get to about 14 feet in some of the deepest areas. So they are, you can get out and paddleboard and have fun in them. So they're. But yeah, Nelson Lakes sounds better than naming it something different than that. But yeah, they're very beautiful and worth seeing if you make your way over to Suncadia. One
Sweet.
of the things we're also very excited about right now is just past Nelson Lakes is Suncadia's first 55 plus community. It's going to be called the Uplands. So it's
Okay.
a 55 and better community. It will be gated. There'll be 60 total homes in there. It's already broke ground. There's been 2 sales so far. They already broke ground on the like the workout or the facility with the pool and the clubhouse, excuse me,
Yep.
and come to me eventually. So there will
Yeah.
be a clubhouse and it'll have a pool, hot tub, pickleball. You got to have pickleball. It's sweeping
Yeah,
the
you
nation, I
do.
think. So yeah, so it'll have pickleball, a hot tub, swimming pool. It will not have a workout facility there, but obviously at Suncadia we have the workout
Yep.
facilities if you'd like to be a member. But the clubhouse will be more for community events and get together. So that's going to be really wonderful, and the builders landed gentry wanted to make sure that that was started now. They didn't want that to be something that is down the road. That's on its way now.
Sweet.
So those are going to be there's going to be 6 different floor plans there. 5 of the 6 are single level, so there is one that's a story and a half. Obviously, being 55 and better, there'll be different restrictions than the rest of the resort, but we're starting now at 1,399 and going up into 185 at the moment. So you kind of have a range. The square footage is anywhere from just under 2,000 to up to about 3,300 at the moment. So but it's just really
Oh,
neat to start to see
nice.
that come together. The model home is open 7 days a week right now, so if you're interested, definitely pop over. And but it's the one and only 55 and better community in Suncadia. So it sits on a beautiful piece of land
Yeah.
just past Nelson Lakes. And like I said, there'll be 60 homes there, and we're really excited to watch that community start to take shape for sure.
Yeah, that's very cool. Is there any new talk? Because I know back in the past, the village or some sort of other expansion of that, but is that still kind of in the works?
I love it. Yeah, great question. Yeah, so right now it is we've broken ground. So yeah, I'm sure as a owner, you've been hearing about the village for many years. So we're going to
Yep.
call it Suncadia Social. So
Okay.
for those of us that have been around here forever, it's hard to get away from the village, right? That's all what we've always
Yeah.
kind of considered it as is the village. But yes, so in between our lodge and our swim and fitness center is going to be Suncadia Social. We've already begun the site work. They are installing utilities. They're paving the street. And what it will be is there actually be 42 townhomes and bungalows that are going to be on the backside of the village. So,
Mhm.
and I think they're trying to get those to start in the low 1 millions when that
Okay.
gets going. So something to kind of think about coming up here in the future. And then on the front side will be about 17,000 square feet of retail space. And so everyone that lives here and hopefully future residents will be happy to know that there will be a general store. I think that's always been the
The
that's always
hardest.
been the
Yeah.
thing. You got to leave and you got to go into town to Cle Elum to Safeway to get your goods. And so there will be a general store. We're going to add a couple new restaurants in there. There'll be an outdoor goods store, a home goods store, and a coffee shop. So it's going to be a wonderful new spot for people to hang out and be close to the action. That's where all the energy is going to be with the lodge there,
Mhm.
Suncadia Social, the swim and fitness center. Across the street is the Stove House. So that'll kind of be the main hub for the amenities. And we're looking at starting construction in the fall for the homes, and then
Mhm.
coming out of winter. And so early in 2025, we'll start with the retail space. So we're hoping
Okay.
by coming out of winter 2026, the Suncadia Social will be up and running, and we'll have, like I said, just something that's been needed for a
For a
long
while.
time, all too
Yep.
well.
Yep.
And it'll just be great to have a couple of different things. Like our restaurants here in Suncadia are amazing, but they're all very similar. They're all
Mhm.
very similar. So it'll be nice to get a couple new restaurants, and and the outdoor, like I said, the general store, outdoor goods store. It's just going to be, uh it's time. It's time, and so I'm just
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
glad to
No,
see
it'll
it.
be
And it,
great. And it,
yeah,
yeah. In a way, it's actually appropriately named too, because a social, it's a way to bring everyone that lives and is visiting kind of to one place, right? I
yes,
think everyone, there are different restaurants and the winery and all that that's, on site in the resort, but once you have more amenities, more people will congregate, more people will be more social with each other, and there's more events and stuff that'll probably circle around all those spaces too. So it's definitely I'm very excited to see that in here that that's going to be coming to completion 2026.
2026. Yeah, we'll probably have, we're going to start like I said, the bungalows and the townhomes in
Yep.
fall of 2025. So we may see those a little bit sooner, but yeah, 2026 is when we'll hopefully be socializing out there at the
So,
Suncadia Social. No, it's it's very exciting, and I think is going to add just so much value for our current owners and our future owners. To have that. If you've ever been to Sun River, I mean, it's such an amazing addition to have a village like that and a place to go and congregate and socialize. And so having that come to Suncadia here in the next couple of years is very exciting for us, for sure.
awesome. Good. Is there anything else new coming that you want to touch
Yeah,
on?
we didn't even talk about the Tumble Creek side. If you cross the
Oh yeah.
river over there, we have the Paintbrush Lakes, so it's kind of the original Nelson Lakes. They're a little bit smaller. That is getting more and more built out all the time. And so across the street now we have the new Domery Park neighborhood. So they built a beautiful park down at or at the end of the property there called Domery Park. And we're going to have about 75 homes that wrap around the park. And so same thing for those are going to be mostly lots that you would buy and build a custom home
Mhm.
on. Having said that, there is going to be 30 homes. So it'll be the same builder as the Uplands, 55 and better. It's called the Mountain Home Collection. And so there'll be 30 homes. Again, 4 of the 5 floor plans will be single level. But it's going to, I can think of, like we mentioned before in the resort, I can only think of like a handful of single level homes. So you can tell there's a need for that as builders are
Yep.
starting to do that. But this street will have 30 homes. There'll be 5 different floor plans, 14 different elevations. So the way the home's going to look, and 10 different colorways. So even though it is going to be a community of 30 homes, not one home will look the exact same. And
Very
so
cool.
that did launch a little while ago, where we have 7 homes sold in there of our first phase of 14. And then we're hoping to move on to phase 2 going into next year. But it's in a beautiful spot down there at the far end of Tumble. It's a ways back there, but it is
Mhm.
the Tumble Creek community is much smaller than the Suncadia one currently. And it just got a different feel to it. It's just
Mhm.
a little bit quieter, the private side. So and I've seen both. I've had people come and want the quiet side, and be able to drive to the energy. And I've had people that are like, that's just it's I want more energy. I want to be on the Suncadia side. So
Yep.
that's a beauty of Suncadia as well. It does give you kind of both options depending on where you're at in your life, and what you are looking for in your either vacation home or your new future primary residence. So but
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean, going forward, we still have, you know, the developers think we have another 8 or 10 years to build out here. So past the 55 plus, we have what's called Division 9, and that takes us all the way out to the lake, pretty much.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So So that'll be kind of over the next few years, and then there's still 3 areas in Tumble Creek that they're going to develop out. So at the end of this year, we're going to be close to 1,400 rooftops.
Mm,
So that's exciting to hit that
yeah.
milestone. And then, like I said, we'll in the near future, it'll be just releases of Nelson Lakes, Mountain Home Collection, and the Uplands. And then as we move past that, it will be those newer divisions down the road. But we can always talk about that as we
Yeah.
get a little bit
We'll
closer.
do
But yeah,
another update next year, and there'll
yeah,
be a
yeah,
whole other set of things to
yeah,
talk about.
exactly. Yeah. Hopefully by then we'll have some good news about, like I said, Suncadia Social, and
Yep.
we'll have those new phases of Domery, Nelson, and the Mountain Home Collection, and the Uplands. Those are kind of the
Yep.
our newest communities that are really hitting the ground running right now.
Gotcha. And so also in Tumble Creek, important to note that there's a community center as well. So
Yes,
even though
100%.
yeah. And
Yeah,
I
so
think
it has its own, so the uh, it has its own golf house, of course. So when we came to naming our stuff in Tumble Creek, we weren't the most creative, but we do have the golf house, and then our main clubhouse area has its own restaurant, its own areas for the kids, golf simulator, all that fun stuff. That is called the Great House. Like I said, we
Mhm.
didn't get too crazy. And then if you go just up above there, we have what we call the Hill House, so all houses. And the Hill House is what has the workout equipment, which they fully replaced everything this year. It has a swim in and swim out lap pool, hot tub, and then a family pool as well. So, and just being Tumble Creek, it just doesn't get quite as compacted as the resort side does, even on those busy weekends. So,
Yeah.
one thing to think about with Tumble Creek too, when it comes to membership, if you are a member at Tumble Creek, you are a member of the whole resort. So your membership crosses the river. So you can use all the swim and fitness center, all the pools. You're a part of all the social activities that we discussed. If you're a member at Suncadia, it doesn't cross over to Tumble, but there is still plenty of activities for our owners and members here at Suncadia as well.
Nice. I want to touch on events too, because I know that there's just so year round there, Suncadia puts
Yes.
on amazing events for all different, I mean, people with kids and, wine events and just like, all those things, especially, times of the year. So in the fall,
Mhm.
winter, it seems like there's something always happening. You want to talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, well, and it's only getting better. Our
Mhm.
events coordinator, Alyssa, does a great job of making sure she lines all this stuff up. She stays very busy.
Mhm.
And but You nailed it. The biggest ones are, like I mentioned earlier, Winterfest, kind of those 3 weeks during the winter time, to get people over to play in the snow a little bit. Harvest Fest is a huge one for us in the fall, and that's down at Nelson Farm. We have this great old farm that we protected and turned into a great area for people to come down. And that one has everything from sometimes a petting zoo. They have like touch a truck, and they'll bring out all like the fire trucks and everything for kids. And there's music, and there's booths, and there's food and face painting. I mean, the works, right? Just kind of a giant celebration. But yeah, it's usually those are more of the bigger events, but there's always stuff happening. So like during the summertime, weekly um there's concerts at the farm, so they'll
Mhm.
have concerts not only for adults, but they'll bring in concerts in the daytime for the kids, kids
Okay.
entertainers.
Yep.
There's always hikes, there's fun runs, there's I mean really everything you can think of in the wintertime. One of the fun ones I think is the horse or the snowshoe and brew tour. So
Oh,
you'll
yeah.
you'll snowshoe into Roslyn and down at to the Brick, which is the oldest bar in Washington, and you can have lunch or a beer, whatever you want, and then come back. So yeah, I mean, just always just fun entertainment year round. When it comes to members, there's always they have meet and greets, meet and mingles for members monthly. Yeah, and
Mhm.
those are getting into the people. There's 100 people turning out for those, which I
Wow.
think is so wonderful because you
Yeah.
move to a new community. It's tough sometimes, and that gets you just a monthly party to make sure that you're meeting new members. On the Tumble Creek side, they have what's called Corkscrews Wine Club, and
Mhm.
people will donate their homes for a few hours and entertain, and it's put on by the Tumble Creek staff, and they'll bring food, and it's paired with a winery, and just a chance for, well, again, for people to meet each other and for people to showcase their houses. So I mean, I could go on and on, but you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a list of stuff. It's just you're never going to have too long of a period in which there's not some fun event happening for sure.
Yep. That's great. Yeah, it's just a really well-rounded community out there. And I think that more people, especially as people move to Seattle and may not know the area and may not know Eastern Washington and how accessible it is, it's important for them to kind of know there is something else out there than just the West Side, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
And so even if it's a weekend getaway, just to kind of explore, you'll kind of fall in love with all the things we talked about today. And then if you do take the plunge in actually wanting to purchase, there's just so many options. And I think they're good investments if you want to get into the short-term rental side or rent it out or when you're not using it, that type of thing, or simply have a secondary home that you're kind of getting out of the city during the week and into your secondary home to kind of peace out and be away from, maybe your work and everything that's going on over here. It's a very unique to have it so close to Seattle and Bellevue, and more people should know about it.
yeah. Well, like you said, earlier, you mentioned how we get more sun over here. We get an average of 52 extra days of sun.
Yep.
So something happens about Easton as you're coming over the pass, and it opens up for us. And even in the wintertime, don't get me wrong, it can get cold, but boy, is it
Yeah.
beautiful when it's sunny in the wintertime. And I'm obviously a little biased being from here, but I do think it's just kind of one of those places that, you know, you, as a kid, you can bring your kids over and let them run and let them use their imagination and adventure a little bit. And, maybe put down the phones just for a little while, right? And we're all a little hooked into those, but,
Searching for
and just,
cell phone service.
exactly, but I just feel like it's kind of one of those last places you can kind of come and let kids be kids. And maybe as adults we can kind of tap into being a kid a little bit as
Totally.
well. So
Yep.
to have that 80 miles from downtown Seattle, I think does make it special. And and when you come over here and you get into the towns of Cle Elum and Roslyn and just see how it's all interconnected and how amazing those communities are too, I do think it's, like I said, very biased. I'm from here,
Yep.
but I do think it's a special place, and I'm glad to live here and glad to work here, and definitely glad to call this place home for sure.
Sweet. Well, I think we covered everything on my end that I wanted to. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of make sure you talked about?
No, I think we,
Yeah.
we nailed it. We'll be
Up
like I
today.
said, we can hopefully do it again next year and update you on where we're at. But hopefully we can get you back over here and see all the
Yeah,
changes that have been made. But yeah,
sure. It might be sooner than later. We're thinking maybe in August we take a quick trip, so it might
I
work
love
out
it.
just.
Perfect.
So we'll repost this video. I will include all your information, as well as your handle, just so that people could follow you and see what you're doing and reach out if they have any questions about Suncadia real estate. And then we'll look forward to checking in with you maybe next year, just to kind of get an update on how everything's going.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me today.
You bet. Thanks, Tony.
All right.
We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.